Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hard if you want to delay. Sorry about that. Very hard if you want to delay. Would just like to have a moment of silence. Wrong for it. Would you just take a minute, please? Thank you very much. Yeah.
If I mean, and I know, if the community hasn't heard yet, one of our dearly beloved bus drivers passed away this past week. Ronnie she was casually known by our staff, by our students, was really the face of John Marshall. She had attended many board meetings. The word character, heart of gold, just the most loved person. Myself, as high school principal, I didn't, you don't know all the bus drivers all the time, but Ronnie was one of those faces that you just couldn't miss, and just a joy. And it's just a horrible loss. And I'll tell you this: her identity was really defined at what she did at John Marshall. When I went over there, I saw Karen, I saw Russell. The lasting impact she had made with that staff and the kids, and I'm just hoping she's in a better place. I know we will miss her terribly. I'm sure Karen will say something too when she comes up to.
God bless her. Thank you. Yeah, condolences to her family, and thanks for your service to our district. Presentation.
Yes, I'm going to introduce Dr. Soriano from East Hampton Middle School.
Thank you. So tonight for the middle school, we're featuring our cooking club, which I told you about last time that we were going to be doing. And this grew out of discussion, started with Mrs. Tetrold, and grew out of discussion during our site-based about different clubs that we can offer the kids. And actually, Mrs. Rowland, who's here tonight to make the presentation, presented most of this last week to our site base so they could get an update on what we were doing. And then we discovered at the time, so Mrs. Madison, I have you on my list of call to make, that we may need to make a slight budget adjustment based on the discussion.
Oh, God.
So I'll put in the plug now in public.
Isabel loves those calls.
So, softening up a little bit. At this time, I want to introduce Mrs. Rowland, who's going to be talking to you about the club and who runs the club.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm just going to do a little text on. Ooh, look at that. So Dr. Soriano is passing out a paper copy of what is also presented on the board just there. This is in regards to Cooking Club, which I just have to say thank you very much to the board for just allowing for these after-school experiences for the kids. Last year was my first year teaching at the East Hampton Middle School, and of course it was not a typical year by any means. But prior to that, I had been teaching family and consumer science since 2005 here on the east end of the island, with a brief hiatus, raising my own 3 kids at home, and then I was happy to get back to work in East Hampton once they were off to school. But of course, last year wasn't very typical at all. We didn't have the ability to experience what we really could in our classroom. So I'm delighted that this year, Dr. Soriano said, you know what, let's give it a shot. Let's integrate what we're able to bring back. And in the past, the cooking club was always very popular, but it came with a fee. And this year, we figured, well, maybe we don't have to charge the fee because we haven't been using the food's money because of everything that's going on with COVID. So we took that money and we said, let's keep the club free, and we'll apply that money towards the club for the kids. We put it out to the kids to sign up, and the sign up list was over 50. So they were very excited to take part, but it led us into this little challenge of, well, how are we going to accommodate that? Because we can't put 50 kids into a kitchen safely, certainly not in these circumstances. So very happy to see the outpouring and the enthusiasm from the kids, and we worked it out such that we split the groups in two, and we made an A group and a B group, and this amazing club was born. So first and foremost, I just want to share with you that the point of Cooking Club initially and always is to introduce kids to basic food preparation. But with that comes along, basic life skills, how to nourish themselves, clean their surroundings, do a load of laundry. Kids walk into our room and they say, why do you have to wash from the dryer here? And it takes them a minute and they're like, oh yes, the dish towels, the drying cloths, and all that's involved in food preparation. And those are real life skills that they can immediately apply to their daily lives. So not only are they just learning how to prepare food, but they're learning these skills that are applicable in all facets of their lives. The fun social environment became quite apparent almost immediately. When you see the kids walk through the door, I would say that this is every bit as much of a social, emotional learning experience than it is anything else. I mean, it's almost as if you put something in the children's hands to distract them, give them something to do, and the talking starts and the enthusiasm comes. So it's been a real joy to see a little bit more of that normalcy come back, because in your traditional classroom experience, you don't see that as much. There's teaching, there's learning taking place, there's more order and structure and assignments. And after school, you really see them open up and they start talking about their favorite foods, or my grandma has this recipe and this is what we have on this holiday. And they start really making friendships across grade levels, because this is grades 6, 7, and 8. So that leads to the importance of also bridging to the high school program here that we just established. And now all of a sudden we have kids having this foundation of basic food preparation, life skills, interests in these career fields that could be huge for them. And then they come over here and wow, we have this exceptional program available to them. So I think that it's a great bridge to build the excitement just before they come over here. Some benefits. So I already mentioned to you that this year the club is offered for free. And I don't have experience running the club in this district prior to this. This is the only experience that I've had. But what I can say is that, as I stated before, we see a sharp increase in the participation. So we wondered if that's because the club has now gone from $40 to being free. And if that's the case, now we have kids that are involved in a team who may not have been on a sport, a club, or a team before. We have children with special needs that actually have one-on-one aides in the club after school, and they're able to engage in the activities and prepare food for themselves and have fun with it and make friends in a social emotional learning environment. And we just want to keep up that momentum. So in the future, just thinking ahead to how we can incorporate this into our budget to keep it free, so that those kids who would not otherwise be on the sports team or involved in different clubs can now be part of this group.
I'm actually interrupt my comment. Is anybody here aware that we had a club that we asked kids to pay for? Because this is the first time hearing of this.
Yeah.
I assume that every single
Me too.
club that we've ever had is in the budget and we've been paying for this. So I'm kind of disappointed to hear that we've been charging children for an after-school club.
Yeah, this was the one club that we charged for because there were no supplies. So Anne Marie used that money to go out and buy supplies for the club. And that was discussed at site-based with the parents, the faculty.
You
But
should just bring those things to us, honestly,
Yeah.
because I think, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think we would have probably said, okay.
Yeah,
We can pay for that, so,
at the time I communicated that with the central office and I was told to go ahead, so I'm not.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Subvert that process.
Just going
but-
forward, maybe we can put that into the budget because.
Yeah.
That's what I said
Yeah.
before. I mean, I would really like to.
That's, yeah, I mean, that's something I think, we don't charge for any sports, we don't charge for
No.
anything, so I don't want to charge anything.
right, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we brought that up.
Agreed, yes, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Because we really saw kids step forward and get involved that may not have beforehand. And
Right.
this brings me to my next piece, which is, especially with the holidays that we just went through, it brought up a lot of diversity and cultural experiences connected to food that the kids brought into
Right.
club. We had one young lady that had a German apple cake recipe, and I was sharing with site-based that her grandmother's writing was like all on the side of the recipe. And when we made copies for the whole group, you know, the kids were remarking, and she was like, "Sorry, my grandma, you know, marked it up," but it just, you know, it was so heartfelt and warm and real. And our whole group made this recipe, and this one young lady was like, "Yes, that's exactly what it tastes like. We did what my grandmother did." And then we had another student come in and say, "Hey, could I do the demo? Can I demonstrate how to do it for the class, and then they can follow my lead?" I said, "Sure, take it away." You know, so I don't necessarily think that we would see those kinds of things in a traditional classroom setting, and yet those might be the kids that join our program over here at the high school or become chefs and bakers one day. I want to mention that all food labs are student-led, and they're based on their interests, and that's something that I want to keep and that I really enjoy about this club, because again, it's different from the classroom environment where I kind of lead the way. They lead the way with the club, and they say to me, "Can we try this? Can we try that?" I will say that making breads from scratch, pizza, sushi is big on their list. So they come with all of these interests. And they experience food as nourishment physically as well as socially and emotionally. You know, there's emotions tied to this when their food is in the oven. They sit down, they wait for it while they discuss with other classmates, and they open up conversations, much like you would see at a table around your home. The only thing that I will say is that due to COVID, we don't eat in our classrooms. So the masks stay up, they wait for their food. While it's baking, they are working on homework together, they're playing games together. When it's finished, they clean up, they cover it, they take it home, they share it with their families. So everyone leaves with something that they've created. Just a little format and what we do so that you can envision it in your head. Perhaps I should have started with that, but the kids come in, they sign in, they take attendance, and they get in the cooking groups that they choose, typically 3 or 4 kids in a group. We read the recipe in its entirety from start to finish, just so that we can imagine in our brains what supplies we're going to need, what ingredients we're going to need, and they can jot down what their setup will be. Then I demonstrate the entire recipe from start to finish, and they watch that being executed by me. During this time, the students take notes on who's doing which job. So Susie's doing the flour, Johnny's doing the sugar, and all of that is planned out before they enter the kitchen. Then they get to work in the kitchen lab. And like I said, if there's any kind of bake time or wait time, we have board games, homework, and then the cleanup has been very interesting. You know, some kids love to wash dishes and others not so much. But what we've noticed is the exposure to these kinds of life tasks is very varied. So some kids will take paper towel and they'll scrunch it all up and they'll do something like this on the counter, and then others will bring out a rag and they know that they have to do it nice and open. So we go over these things together, which is also part of the learning, right? Looking ahead, we have discussed the frequency of the club meetings. Right now they meet twice a month, and both children and parents alike have asked for an increase in meetings, which Dr. Soriano and I are weighing out, because part of the special feeling associated with it might be because it's less frequent and it's more exciting for the kids. Special focus areas, whether or not we should hone in on, fresh pasta, yeast bread, or connect with the high school here, what they're specifically focusing on, if anything, in their curriculum. Bridging to career connections and asking if maybe local entrepreneurs and chefs and bakers might come in and share with them what their experience is working out in the field. And you've already addressed it, but how we can continue to keep this club free, which it sounds like we're going to have a positive response regarding. And lastly, bridging the students to our program over here at the high school. So I just wanted to make sure that you were all aware of how wonderful the program is and how well received it is by the kids. And what a joy it is for me to have the pleasure of leading it. It's been very rewarding. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good. Thank you. You're going to be assured it will be free.
Yeah.
Isabel might shoot me, but
I don't think that any club should ever have a fee.
great.
is there any callers? What? Does anybody from the board have a question for the presentation?
Yeah, we have no callers at this time.
Great, thank you very much for the presentation. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's good to see that stuff. You hear about it, but it's good to actually see and kind of get an idea of what people are doing in the classrooms. News of the schools.
So I have news of the district first. I want to take this opportunity. As you may or may not know, there's a lot of snow outside. And without the effort of our crews here, Dave Fiorello, our head custodians, our director of facilities, we would not even remotely be open. And then in addition to that, a big shout out to some of our community members who come and help us. Brian Stanis came out, he had prep history and came out and assessed the situation.
Pete Grimes, the list goes
Brian.
on, Mike Steele. There's a lot of guys that are Bonnick alum, as you'd say, I guess. They kind of looked for the call and were like, they noticed on their own.
Yeah.
And they're like, listen, you guys need help? And they just came and did it. And we owe them many, 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 many thanks.
Completely the only reason we were open today. So
Yes.
thank you to all of it, our own guys, our local community. Thank you for making this happen. Who would have known that snow is more challenging than cold?
Yeah.
Karen?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
I will just take a moment to express my deepest sympathy in Ronnie's passing. Miss Ronnie, as she was known, she really cared so deeply for our students. She was an advocate for student health and well-being. She was, she just championed the importance of recess. And if we didn't have enough balls or hula hoop, she was the first to come in and tell us. And I know Russell worked with her for a lot longer than I did, but she would be the first to come and advocate for what our students needed outside on the playground. She was truly one of a kind, and I can only hope that she knows how much she was loved and how truly a part of the fabric of John Marshall she is. And we are planning a celebration of life for her in the spring when we can all come together in a different way and have a tribute to her out on the playground. So our sincere sympathies to her family, and she's already greatly missed. In additional news of the school, this Friday, our progress reports will be back home. So that's Friday the 4th. We have a new addition in our STEM lab. Today, both our STEM teacher and our librarian and our assistant superintendent, myself, had some training on new VR goggles. So we have the good fortune of having a class set of virtual reality goggles that are really only developmentally appropriate for 3rd through 5th graders. But through STEM Lab, they will be able to take virtual experiences around the world, into the Amazon, to the moon, quite honestly, through the VR goggles. So we're thrilled to have them, and I think it's really, the beginning of something really cool, a really cool addition.
Sounds like a presentation.
Yeah. I wish we could get it across in a.
Yeah, so everybody can see it.
We can show it on the screen, but it's only 2D. Really have to have the goggles on for that video.
They're absolutely amazing.
And then as far as staff development, I thought I'd share some of the work that Adam started last year district-wide with the DEI committee. It's coming down to the building level, and our staff is starting a 3-series of workshops for diversity, equity, and inclusion at the building level. And we're thrilled to be working with Ms. Phyllis Cotner, and that work is happening at John Marshall starting this week.
Oh, Sarah.
So eager.
I got my money for the club, so I'm good.
He's a cool as head.
Speaking of the club, if Miss Rowland would like to invite Mr. Smith in on the doing the dishes.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he's available. So our big news is our COVID cases are way down. As of today, we only have 4 students who are currently quarantined, which is a beautiful thing, and also means we can look at reassessing our need for live stream. We'll take that as it comes. It also means that we can open up our select ensemble concert. We were planning on doing that live stream and limiting the number of audience members per performer. We no longer have to do that, according to my new boss, Ms. Gearing, and we're able to open it up as a traditional in-person event. That evening, we'll have the jazz band, Camerata, the Far East Fiddle Club, and the String Chamber Ensemble. Today marks the start of Black History Month, and so we have Cheryl Carter is working on our bulletin board of local Tuskegee Airmen. Apparently there are 3 from East Hampton who will be featured in that board, or display, I should say, as well as Howard Wood continuing his tradition of the daily trivia of notable local African Americans. In addition to that, we are also taking a deep dive in terms of our DEI work, and we'll be presenting that to the faculty on Monday, and also starting a second cohort to work on our equity action plan. We also have our March Parent Teacher Conferences coming up on the 2nd and 3rd from 4 to 6. And though there was some confusion on that, after I put an announcement out, those will be in person. And our teacher reacher will open on February 7th. Thank you.
And just to follow up Sarah's COVID message, I just want to remind the community, we do have a COVID distribution tomorrow, 10 to 2, and on Thursday, 10 to 2. Please come to the district office if you would like some more home COVID tests. Again, in consultation with our medical staff, we're asking parents to keep testing, and this community has come out and grabbed tests. I think we're upwards of giving out over 1,000 boxes of tests. We have a lot more. We're hoping families use them for the February break before they come back. At least we have them now, unlike the last vacation. So to keep our numbers down, we're in a really good place, and it's allowing us to do a lot. And I know Joe's going to bring something up when he comes up. So, yep. You done, Joe? You good? I got his money. Good.
Thank you very much, everybody. I just wanted to thank Adam and the crew, the snow removal crew yesterday, because we've had a real tough time with boys and girls basketball with being on pause for COVID. And our games are so bunched up. And the message went out, the school's closed, and I asked Adam, is there any way we can get one bus to go to Amityville to get the boys there, because it's 2 o'clock departure. And Joe Lapani and Joel jumped on it. They got us the bus, go help everyone. We got the game in. You know, at this point, they're playing 3 games in 4 nights. That's hard in any sport. So that really helped us. And again, if you can thank those guys for helping us out, that meant a lot to those kids to get it in and get to travel in, because Amityville is not around the corner. Which leads me to the placement. I sent a visual to the board and to the athletic committee what happened in far as geography. So it's happening, folks. It's going to happen this fall, and it's going to save the district about $2,000 to $3,000 per team, per sport, per season. That's a good savings. But the big savings is going to be, you're going to see it in seat time. We're not going to have early dismissals. We're not going to ask kids to leave so early and miss so many classes in a row. That's what this was all about. This is not about anything else, who we play, competition. is about how many times we have to early dismiss our kids and get them to Amityville, or if you will, like we had to do today to go to FL Hills West. You know, those are big trips that we don't have to do any longer. So the money's nice, you know, but what's really great is the educational seat time.
Not getting home at 11 o'clock or if we live in
Exactly.
Montauk,
Right,
well,
right.
Yeah.
and then have to go to school the next day.
So there are two things to think about moving forward is we did do east-west. It's not a complete product. Hopefully it'll continue to grow and do also north-south, which will make it true geography, but it's a step in the right direction. And I'm hoping to deal with some of the growing pains section as I've been this week moving forward with to see it implemented in the fall. So I'm really excited about that. Adam mentioned about spectators. I have spoken to Wendy, our new boss, like you said, and you know, our numbers are down. So I was going to ask if we could look at our spectator policy and maybe allowing kids to come back masked up and open up the gym. I have received many emails from other schools that are now removing the 2 spectator policy rule. And I'd like the board to give me some direction on that. See if it's okay if we can do that. We have a big enough gym. We never get that many people anymore, but I think if we open up, we'll go a long way for supporting our athletes for the rest of the winter.
You're recommending a pre-surge number,
Yes.
like you're asking?
Yes, you know, obviously totally masked up.
What does that entail? Just because I don't remember, what are we looking at?
Well, we limited, once we decided to limit, we did 2 per athlete. Before that, we had no restrictions, as long as you were masked up.
But there's masks.
Yes.
So we weren't allowing a student body to come in.
We were not,
Right.
you know,
I think it
so.
would be
for the
great,
mask-
I mean, if our numbers remain this low, which is very low right now, I think it would be great to allow students to come back as spectators.
I agree. Considering they're together all day anyway, I mean, listen,
Yes.
they're gonna be together.
Yeah, as long as
anyway.
they're masked.
And they're masked and they follow,
Yeah.
if they follow the mask rule, and that goes for our opponents as well.
Yeah.
They must follow our mask rule or they have to go. You know, okay.
Perfect, that's a
Has
big
that been
help,
an issue,
so,
Joe?
sorry?
Has that been an issue with the spectators from other schools?
Well, you know, it's mixed, some of us are doing the 2 athletes per, 2 spectators per athlete, some are not.
No,
About the
the
mask.
mask.
Oh, no, the only time, honestly, it's been tougher on the court, having kids wear the mask since the mask mandate kind of got gray, and that's been a challenge, but never with the spectators, they put them up, it's been very respectful, it's been good. It's been more of a challenge with the kids on the court, and I go out there and just say mask up, and, you know, that has really changed, to be honest with you, it's been tough. But as far as the spectators, no.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well. I mean, I think, you know,
a few more
yeah, there's not much left, and some of these kids
games left for the winter anyway.
did not get to play in front of a crowd, and they should get that opportunity. The numbers are low, we should allow. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone from like 35% positivity in the county to less than 5 right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
numbers keep going in this direction, you know,
But I
we're
appreciate,
going in the right direction.
I appreciate that. I'll pass the word on to everyone. I'm gonna make everyone's day. It's really nice. Looking forward to the spring. We just have some new openings, some resignations that you'll see here, and there'll be some new postings to fill those positions moving forward. So, okay.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Joe.
Good to the school.
We are good.
Matt, do we have any callers for public comment for agenda items?
No, we have no callers at this time.
Terrific, thank you. Okay, the superintendent, do we have a consent?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The superintendent's report and recommendations. Item number 1, recommend that the board approve the following appointments for the 2021-22 school year. And it begins with additional teaching sections with Catherine Helfand, math teacher at $22,316. And it goes down to,
Right, yep, the last one. High school after school.
and the high school RTI program as well. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Bye.
Any opposed? Number 2, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Be it hereby resolved, the Board of Education accept a letter of resignation for the purpose of retirement, effective close of business day on June 30th, 2022 as follows. I'm going to read them all. First is Denise Clark Klein, Diane Curtin, Crystal Koss, Gina Kraus, Edward McGinty, Irene Quinn, and John Ryan Jr. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second?
Second.
Discussion besides congratulations in this one?
Congratulations.
You know, and I just want to also add, so many of us here who have kids who have come through the, 12 years in the district, know so many of these people as more than just names in retirement. And they've all had such a formative role in helping to raise our kids. So thanks so much for all that you've done for the district to all of you there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And along with some really big shoes to fill in that list, honestly. That's
great.
you read that out and you think about it, you're like, wow, gee, it's intense.
Yep.
Anybody else have a comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 3, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the board accept the letter of resignation from Tina Gomez Barrientos for a position as teaching assistant effective close of business day on February 1st, 2022. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 4, recommend that the board approve the following amended resolution. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District approve the terms of a memorandum agreement dated February 1st, 2022 between the District of East Hampton Teachers Association regarding remote instruction for students quarantined due to the pandemic and or determined received remote instructional services for the 2021-22 school year. And be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools is authorized to execute said memorandum of agreement on behalf of the board. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just an amendment from an existing agreement for home tutoring stuff due to quarantine.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 5, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District approve the terms of the memorandum of agreement dated February 1st, 2022 between the East Hampton Union Free School District and the East Hampton Teachers Association regarding the designation of August 31st, 2022 and September 1st, 2022 as superintendent conference days for the 2022-23 school year, and be it further resolved that the superintendent of schools is authorized to execute the said memorandum of agreement on behalf of the board. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Just to kind of piggyback to our next one, which is the calendar. I appreciate the flexibility of the East Hampton Teachers Association.
Thank you. Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 6, recommend the board approve the second and final reading of the East Hampton Union Free School District 2022-22 school calendar. Have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
We've already discussed it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 7, recommended that the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the board approve the consultant agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Wireless Sound Limited in the amount of $5,525 for the purpose of providing sound system services for the East Hampton High School Spring Musical in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 8, recommended the board approve the first amendment to the internal safety camera systems terms of use between the East Hampton Union Free School District and the Bus Patrol America LLC, notifying section 10 of the internal camera use agreement in accordance to the terms and conditions set forth in said first amendment to the internal safety camera systems terms of use. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Christina? Any discussion? You want to explain this?
That's a modification. That's for the county, for the cameras that are now on the buses that drive by. It's a modification to the existing approval when you drive your car and you get caught going around the bus.
Gotcha. All right. Don't do that. You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But anyway, all in favor? Any opposed? And I do see some are starting to pop out there from what I'm hearing. So there's been a few summonses with that.
Mhm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
People getting caught going down the
Yeah,
bus.
yeah. Number 9, recommend that the board approve the following budget transfers, beginning with A 2122.1300.12, and ending with the BOCES tuition. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Any discussion? We need to explain it. It's just moving from one code to another, correct?
This is the BOCES contract.
Right.
And there's a couple of places where we need funds. So we have to look for them. One of them is the occupational. You see, the problem is that the contract is done before the budget.
Right,
Or after, actually.
Right.
Not before, after.
right.
And so sometimes it's hard to budget.
So our budget's an estimate, basically. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 10, recommend the board approve the following budget transfers to balance the district's payroll. And it begins with custodial salaries, K through 3. And then, how far does it go? It goes down to speech instructional salary, district-wide. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second? Discussion?
No.
Just moving,
Just moving, yeah.
moving money to keep the code positive.
Gotcha, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then now we are down to
Old business.
all over the place here. Let's see, so we're at old business with the COVID-19 pandemic update, which you sort of already did, but
Yeah, numbers are looking good. We thank the community for their cooperation and flexibility with everything that's going on. If we keep going in this direction, hopefully good things will happen. We're planning on doing more events like kind of Sarah talked about, a little bit with concerts and whatnot. Joe talked about with sporting events. We have high school, we have March Madness, we have other events in the elementary school and the middle school. So we're really trying to make that happen. So if the numbers stay where they are, we're looking really good.
good. Yeah, there's a lot of talk out there today with mask mandates and what's really in place today. And we're under the stay that the judge issued, I believe late last night, which carries us, and Brian can correct me if I'm wrong, I think to March 2nd, which is beyond the time that the governor has the special order. So we're beyond that point at this point. I think as a district, and I think this is a good time to talk about it a little bit, to be as transparent about this as we can. And I know other board members have expressed the same thought, but right now we're under the law to have a mask. You have to have a mask. And then once we get to the point where it maybe becomes a district decision, or I don't know if it doesn't, the state doesn't continue, or the judge finds in a different direction, that's fine. If it becomes a local thought, I think, and I'm speaking for myself because I think everybody here probably has opinion. Listen, we're going to go and divert to our medical experts, and we're going to do the best we can to protect our kids in the best way we can possibly do so and keep everybody healthy. That's the end of the day. That's our goal. I think maybe some other board members may want to chime in, but I mean, listen, if a medical professional tells me to wear a mask, that's who I'm listening to. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Agree. We agree.
Anybody else have a comment?
Well, just that the virus is the enemy,
Correct.
not any administrator or student who might want to disagree. I mean, we all have a problem dealing with this. It's tough. And I just think that I'm glad we're where we're at. I'm glad what we have done has been successful as a school. We don't want distance learning. We want kids in school, but safe.
Correct. And would we rather all not have them? Yes. If we could go back to 2 years ago, that'd be fantastic.
Right.
But we're not there. So we're just trying to be as reasonable as we can about it. I know people have strong feelings, but I'm going to sort of, in my decision personally as a board member, I'm going to, defer to a medical expert because I'm not one. So And then we have Brian here for the legal readings in between with all the stuff that's going on. And I don't think people probably realize how much time Adam and his staff and the board has really put into it to, there's a stay, there's no stay, there's a mask, there's no mask. And listen, to stay the course, to wear your mask, to be safe, listen, do I want to wear it? Not really. But am I going to do it because that's what medical, professionals say? Yeah, I'm going to wear it. So I'm going to leave it there.
I just want to echo, I want to echo JP and John what you said. I'm very proud of the fact that this district has mostly stayed open through in person for much of this pandemic. And we've done that by listening to medical professionals. And that's what I, as a board member, am going to continue to do, period.
Great. Anybody else? All right. And then under old business as well as the community housing committee.
Yeah, we have our the surrounding districts and some key personnel coming in for our meeting February 10th. We'll kick that off and see where we go with that. Not everybody seems bought into it. No guarantees, but I think it's a good first step. Great.
And our sending districts are all pretty much sending a representative so that everybody.
Yeah. They got it's either superintendent, board members.
Right.
They're all
So we should have a good perspective.
Yeah, it's going to be nice diverse perspective. We've already gotten some interesting suggestions from people via email, so we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
And
Adam, can I ask you a quick question? I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
Can you share with the members of the committee, at least I'll speak for myself, I'd like to see what kind of emails and suggestions you've gotten. I haven't seen any of that compiled. Can you send that out?
Sure.
Thank you.
anything else under old business? Moving on to exciting new business, the budget workshops begin February 25th at 6 o'clock.
15th.
What's 50? That's the 15th?
15th.
The 15th. Isabel, how many are we doing this year? 2 budget workshops, or are we doing 3?
No, I think that there has to be
3? Okay. We're trying to.
from 4.
Right, so we're kind of condensing down, just so for full transparency, we kind of spread them out. There used to be more when there was a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
And as we've kind of had less to talk about and there's less here, I think we've all come to the agreement that we'd rather do more in one night instead of spreading the nights out. So we're not doing less, we're not looking at less, we're just doing more in one particular night. So just so people know exactly what is going on. So, and we may go down to less from here, but we'll always, I think, talk about it. But at the same time, you know, instead of spreading it out through the whole winter, we kind of condense it down a bit. And that's it. Hope to see you there. Public comment. Matt, do you have anybody for public comment?
Yeah, we have one caller on the line. I'll put them through.
When you're ready, go ahead.
Oh, hi, this is Margaret Farrell. Along the lines of the COVID conversation, I was just wondering where we're at with the 10-day versus 5-day quarantining.
So I'll defer to Adam because I know he's had a more lengthy conversation about it than I have. So go ahead.
So the last conversation I had with our medical staff here, and this was as early or as late as might have been yesterday, it might have been Sunday, is we were right at the 10-day. I have to do some follow-up with our numbers right now. So I know that is something that has come up because right now we have, I think we have 3 cases district-wide today. So there's definitely follow-up. They kind of wanted to stick with the 10-day, but I will follow up again. And that's, just because we've now hit 7 days in a row with really the low numbers. But I want to follow up. I don't want to deviate from what we've done in the past. I want to go speak to our nurses.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, we have our February break coming. So I think we got to kind of remember that around everything else. If we can sort of get through that, then I think there's a whole different conversation. Is how I feel anyway. I don't know how many else is. Right. But I think for right now, for safety's sake, I think the 10 is proper for now, and we'll reevaluate it. I would say with our medical experts as soon as Adam can, and then we'll also reevaluate it probably after our February break.
I think we're getting, and just for Margaret, I think, and for the community, I think we're getting to a really pivotal point now. We've withstood the surge. We now have the tests at hand. We are getting to another vacation. We all know how that goes, and typical historically, East Hampton, we have definitely seen during this vacation, a lot of people go away to far off lands and come back. I think it's a good timing to come back from that. If everybody tests, we get back and we're right into outside. Our athletic programs move outside. It's a big thing. Our windows start getting open. So I really think if we can withstand this, we're really putting the district and the kids in a really good position as we go forward for all these spring-related events that we've had to reschedule. So I think the next few weeks, like you said, JP, are definitely key in this area. But I will follow up again with our medical staff tomorrow.
I think the testing at home before you come back is so pivotal. Like I honestly just sent my kids back to college and they were required to test before they left, before they got in the car, and then they swabbed everybody when they got there. And because of that, they had less than 1% because they picked up a lot of kids
before they got there.
Had to, who were not able to come back for 10 days because they picked them up before they got there. So 2 weeks later, you know, they're still less than 1%. So
and that's good.
I mean, I think we encourage as many parents as possible to test and keep that service from happening, so we don't have to go remote.
Right, Christina, I agree with what you're saying, and I know that an email went out that Adam sent that there's more tests for people to pick up both tomorrow and on Thursday. And I myself was in Bridgehampton today, and at Walgreens, they had plenty of at-home tests as well. They even had ones that were just one instead of two swabs. There was one that were a little less expensive. So they're around. They're available. They're not as sold out as they were around Christmas time.
Right, and then you can also get the free ones from the government. I don't know if our nurses have sent out that website, and I'm sure a lot of people know about it. We can get the 4 free tests from the government.
Yep. I haven't gotten them, but I can order them.
And please take advantage of ours. We have so many. I mean, at some point, you know, we're going to have they're going to expire.
They don't last forever.
I think our ones are like June now. So please, to the community, please come and grab one. I've been very flexible. There are parents who do work during those hours. They've emailed me. Can I send it home with their kid? Can we do this?
Right.
We will do whatever you can. I have a few parents coming in at different hours. It's fine. Come get these tests. We want you to get these tests.
Right.
We have plenty of them, and they're going to ultimately go to waste. If we,
I mean, Adam, maybe what we can do is send it home with kids before break.
as long as their parents give them permission, we will gladly send them home. It's not been an issue. Any parent who's requested that, we've done.
And again, we can't mandate that someone
Nope,
tests,
can't mandate
but
it.
we can encourage it, and it's a smart move
Yep,
for anyone who's
Well,
blind.
the only way we're gonna get ahead is if we've got full cooperation all the way around. And I think we've got good. I think we're doing really well. Yeah. Great. Matt, any other callers?
No more callers.
Okay. Well, I move, we move. Can I have a motion to close? I make it. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're good.